there.
It was this one and this one.
Yeah, and of course I had to
This
find
one
out.
this one's French debris, and this one is Brooklyn debris.
I had to find out what this was, and had a chance to meet Daniel. So before we get into all that you're doing now, which is a lot, and you're a really high energy person, what's your background? How'd you sort of get to where you are today?
Well, I got to this point. I was born and raised in the Bronx. I come from an interesting background of ethnicity, and when I was growing up in the Bronx, it was basically you did it yourself or it didn't get done. So my mother would say, if you're going up the stairs, take something. If you're going down the stairs, take something. And that's basically my philosophy. And that's the only way to save the economy, is if you're going upstairs, take something. If you're going downstairs, take something. It's very simple. And I don't really have a political agenda, but I think I really should start one, because what's happening to the environment makes a lot of sense to me to shift the consciousness of what's happening. And I'm not an advocate so much of the recycling programs, because they're not working. I'm an advocate of consumption, and to stop what's happening, we have to shift our minds and our shopping habits and our living habits. And I don't normally address the medical issues, but there's a direct relationship to consumption and obesity and plastic. Plastic is really a toxic material in the environment, specifically in the ocean, and the merging of the plastics in the ocean is now up the food chain, and we know absolutely for certain that it is in the food chain, and that the recent research of studying sharks and the plastic content of their stomachs, and that means that we're eating plastic essentially. So it's multi-leveled and there's a multitude of toxicity when plastic starts to break down. It doesn't decompose in the ocean, it just breaks down into small microplastics, and the fish mistake that for food, and then it goes up the food chain, and we now know that it's very, very bad.
So Daniel is talking about oceans and plastic and things that are in the ocean, because he takes things out of the ocean and he makes art out of it, and it's amazing. These look like sea creatures. They are they're whimsical. They're colorful. How did you first start doing this? 20
years ago, I moved to France, to Biarritz, France, on the Atlantic Ocean side. My son was 3 years old, and I would sit with him as he played along the shoreline, and I would make little weird things from the stuff on the beach. And I gave myself rules that I couldn't leave the beach, I couldn't use screws or tape or glue, I could only use what I found. And really, my background is in set and lighting design. I'm a graduate of Carnegie Mellon University's drama department.
Interesting.
And so I would make stuff. And I've also studied herbology. I have a certificate, first level of herbology from the Open Center in New York City. And I also have a culinary arts degree. I've been a chef for many, many years. And so food is a very big issue. I've built many gardens in Bridgeport. I was with Green Village Initiative, which is still very present in Bridgeport, building school gardens. So I have a diverse background in food and design and building and doing. And I started making these things on the beach in Biarritz, and I started shifting it to take the stuff off the beach, and I would bring it home. And I still have all the original, I have a lot of plastic in storage in France, and all the original pieces that I made. And then I went back in 2014 to build the show that's at the Westport Art Center now, in the Solo Show, which was a memorial show to a friend of mine that died at 12 years old in a trucking accident in Maine 5 years ago this month. And through her loss, I realized that I wanted to continue on with what she was doing. She was an award-winning environmentalist at age 11. She won the Sustainability Award in the state of Connecticut for the use of sustainable product using bamboo. And I wanted to continue on with her vision. And so I dedicated everything to her and making sure that her vision's not lost.
So let's deconstruct one of these pieces. Maybe this piece here. What all is in there?
That's a paint bucket. Is the blue part from France. The pink stuff is a headlight from a toy that I found in Bridgeport at the Reed's building in the parking lot, which was a giant plastic car toy with a motor and battery, and it was just sitting there by the dumpster in the parking lot. And I broke off the headlights, the top pieces of headlight of the toy. And then there's little plastic things from the beaches in Orchard Beach, and there's a hanger there, there's brooms, and there's an IKEA laundry bag there, there's an umbrella. At the bottom, the feet, the orange things are the caps from a computer printer, the ink. There are beads and brooms, lots of brooms. I love brooms. I love all kinds of brooms. Brooms are all over 95. And so because I'm not close to an ocean here in Fairfield County, I do go to the beaches here, and I go to Westport and various Fairfield County beaches here at also in Bridgeport. And I collect garbage. I collect pieces, and I look at pieces in a way that most people will never look at it, because I also use science. I also use design theories from Gestalt principles of design. And I speak to functional fixedness. What is an object? I lecture on what is an object? What is stuff? What does it mean to you? What is the value of an object? How did we lose our way with purchases? And we're at a point where we're purchasing stuff we never even use. Clothes is one of them. I mean, clothes is one of the most toxic substances to hit the ocean. With microfibers coming off clothes every time you wash. You can capture some of those fibers in a way right out of your washing machine, but most people don't realize that. So with microfibers, micro beads from healthcare products, they're killing the oceans, and we are from the ocean. We're descendants of the ocean, and that's how I feel about it. I feel very, very close to the ocean. I've always been by an ocean. And I look at the ocean and I see what's happening. In some parts of the world, you literally cannot see the water along the coastlines. That's how deep the garbage is. And it's never ending. We're at a point right now where the oceans can't absorb any more trash. The landfills can't absorb any more trash. And my best way to speak to it is through beauty. So I make these pieces and I speak to the beauty. And then when people say, well, what is it? And then I say what it is. I don't, as an environmentalist, I'm a self-imposed environmentalist. And that means that I've taken on the responsibility to speak to the environment through the artwork. And that's really what's captivated people, because they never expect it. They never realize it till I say what it is.
Yeah, captivating is the key word. These are very captivating. I'm listening, I'm speaking with Daniel Lanzilotta, and this is on Facebook.